This is Cody from Texas Roadshow Shop, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, the number one place for advice on how to make money flipping sports cards. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there is no off-season.
What's up, everyone? This is Duke Dodson from Graybows, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network. And remember, there is no off-season.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take sports card school to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. NoOffSeason.com fam, what is up? I am Paul Hickey. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Fitting that we heard from Cody Krim in the intro there. I'm going to be with Cody Krim and Chase Krim and Kendall, the Lefty McKee, in the next few days at the Dallas Card Show. If you're going to be in Dallas for the Dallas show, I would love to see you there. Stop on by the Texas Roadshow booth. Lefty and I will be set up there with our Sports Card Strategy Show setup, our podcast setup, with a lot of friends and members of the fam. And we would love to see you there. If you're not there, don't worry about it, because we're going to help you make money flipping sports cards anyway and have fun in the hobby. And Monday's show will be dedicated to my top pickups at the Dallas Card Show. So you're going to get a little bit of the action, even if you can't be there physically with us. We're thinking of you. We're loving you. And today we're going to get into our top 5 cards to buy, graded, and flip. There's one player only that will be featured in the top 5. So stay tuned for that. What the heck are PSA game-worn cards? And should we even care about them? We're going to talk about that today. We'll talk about the NBA Summer League article that I dropped today at NoOffSeason.com, everybody. Phenomenal article by yours truly, digging deep into the NBA Summer League as a selling marker for a lot of young players. It's the NBA Combine right now. The NBA Draft Combine is happening right now, and there's a lot of buzz around the NBA lottery. Draft lottery. We've got the playoffs right now. It's NBA time. And let's not forget that the Summer League is a selling marker. The Olympics will be a couple of weeks after the Summer League ends. So there is no crossover in terms of attention when it comes to the Summer League. And that makes it a great selling marker. So we'll talk about that article at NoOffSeason.com briefly, but you really need to go there to NoOffSeason.com and read that article, and you will be a lot smarter. I can tell you that. We'll do a quick okay being outbid, and then a little bit longer will it gem. But first, live chat love. We say hello to Koa. We say hello to Gabe Davis. We're going to say hello to many others along the way, I'm sure. Remember, drop your L's, dubs in the live chat. For those of you with us at youtube.com/Paul Hickey right now, drop a comment below as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And most of you are listening on the podcast apps, Apple and Spotify. What's going on? You guys can join the Discord if you really want to get in on the discussion. Go to sportscardstrategy.com to click the link to join the Discord, or just drop a comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. And if you want to get in on some of the action, you can go over to our pinned post on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and answer our questions of the day. Typically, we have one question of the day, but I just have so many questions right now. Tango mas preguntas. And we're going to get into it. So The first question of the day, as we say hello to Baseball Card Curmudgeon. What's up? Good to see you. Do you crack and submit slabs from one grading company to different grading companies? We've done a lot of talking about this on the Sports Card Strategy Show. We've done a lot of analysis at nooffseason.com on how you can make money doing this. There's going to be even more analysis in the formula-based rankings and the player profiles at nooffseason.com coming most likely later today for the premium members on how you can make money. As an extension of Monday's show where we talked about the top regrades, the top slabs to crack and submit to PSA. Do you crack slabs? I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying, hey, Paul, I know you crack slabs. Will you crack mine for me? Because I'm nervous. I don't want to crack mine. And we could try to work something out. Luke Menchel's in the house. Good to see Luke. What's up? A lot of live chat love here going on. So first question of the day is, do you crack slabs and submit to different grading companies? But that's not all. We've got another question of the day. And we added this one because it's timely. Do you care about PSA game-worn cards? Yes, there's an actual thing. PSA game-worn cards. Do you care about them? First, let me give you a little overview of what they are. So, super low grades, because here's what happened. On opening weekend, PSA collectors gave Bobby Witt Jr. and Corbin Carroll cards. They gave Bobby Witt Jr. some Bowman 2020 first paper cards, and they gave Corbin Carroll 2023 Bowman rookie cards, paper of Corbin Carroll. And I wonder if there was only one given to each player. It looks like there was only one given to each player. So what happened was Witt and Carroll each took the field with their rookie cards in their pockets. And Witt's got a PSA 3. They each signed the card, which makes it pretty cool. So it's its own little one of one, because it was technically in each player's pocket, using the game worn label here. And on the PSA label, it even says game worn March 30th, 2024. And it gave Bobby Witt an auto 10, card grade 3. Very good. And on Corbin Carroll, it gave him a good 2. So apparently Corbin Carroll messed up his card a little bit more than Bobby Witt did by 1 grade. And Corbin signed it, and it got a game worn March 29th, 2024 auto 10. So these are obviously one of ones. Don't know if there's more out there. This is a game worn card. It's a new thing. PSA announced it after Monday's show, after Monday's Sports Card Strategy Show. And I said, you know what? Got the crack and sub as the question of the day based on Monday's show. We had Skeens buy, sell, hold as the question of the day on Monday because he got called up. So I pushed the crack and submit to Wednesday. And there's just so many questions, because now, do we care about these game worn cards? Do you care about them? I want to know. So here's how I want you to answer. I want you to either drop a comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey when it's an actual comment. Sorry for those of you in the live chat, but an actual comment really helps us out. And so also go over to Instagram at Sports Card Strategy, follow us, and answer the question of the day. Do you care about PSA game worn cards? I mean, I would think you would probably care much more about them if you were the one that got these. We say hello to Card Curiosity in the live chat. Good to see everybody. All right. It's time for our top 5 sports card opportunities to buy, graded, and flip. And this is courtesy of the formula at nooffseason.com. So just a quick reminder of how we do our formula at nooffseason.com. Essentially, we run as many cards as we possibly can through this mathematical equation that we've built to help us prioritize based on projected ROI for each card. Now, every Monday, we do the top buy, raw, and grade. And that's some fun math. On Wednesday shows, we do the top already graded. And that's some fun math, but it's a little bit trickier because in order to get an average projected sale price at a selling marker, we have to go back through historical data. We have to go back through historical data and look at, is this card down and can it reasonably rise back where it was just based on seasonality? Or are there other player comps that we can compare this particular card to if there's not historical data for it? And then we're going to cross-reference things like, how hot was this player when the card was at the projected average sale price? Would it need to come down a little bit based on, maybe not having a performance spike? So we stay super conservative, but the main difference between raw to grade formula-based rankings at nooffseason.com and already graded formula-based rankings at nooffseason.com is for the already graded, you need a selling marker. You absolutely have to have a selling marker. And I've always said you should only buy a sports card with the selling marker in mind, because that's the way that you would get out of that card. Because even if you think you want to keep that card forever, you might change your mind. We change our minds on a minute-by-minute basis in real life. And so you might want to change your mind after you buy a sports card. And so that's why even if you're not looking to flip and make money like I am, that's why it's important to have a selling marker in mind for particular sports cards that you buy as singles, okay? And I would go even deeper, and I have gone even deeper for premium members at nooffseason.com on, you should have a sports card strategy for anything that you buy, whether it's wax, whether it's buying into a break, whether it's buying a lot of cards, and especially singles. So the main difference is that you need a selling marker for the already graded, and we're not perfect. I think we profit about 30% of the time. I think we lose about 20% of the time. And I think we break even about 50%. But when you're playing the game that we play and you're making smart decisions based on the formula and based on other guidelines that we have published at Sports Card School at nooffseason.com, you are going to profit overall. You're going to profit a lot overall because your 30% of profits is going to outweigh the other 70%. So as we break down the formula, we say you should always have a selling marker in mind. Raw to grade, you don't always need one. Already graded, you do. So now, with that said, before we get into the player that has the top 5 cards, yes, one player that has the top 5 cards on today's show, I'd like to say hello to Joel. I'd like to say hello to Swamp Gator 42. I'd like to say hello to Matt S., who is a new premium member at nooffseason.com. And Matt S. has a couple of questions in already for this Friday's premium pod. Stay tuned, Matt. The answers are coming at you, baby. David T. in the house. He's a premium member at nooffseason.com. Good to see you as well, David. Stay tuned for a great premium pod coming up this week. All right. The player is Tua. Tua Tagovailoa has 5 already graded cards that you can make 30% or more on safely if you buy them now at the entry-level snipe price. And we're going to go through these top 5 cards. Don't say I never gave away anything for free, guys. I give away things for free all the time. And I make my living running a premium content website called nooffseason.com that helps you make money flipping sports cards. So if you want to really support me, go over there, get a free 30-day trial. I promise you won't be sorry. You won't regret it. But I'm going to give away my top 5 cards to buy already graded and flip on today's show. And they're all Tua Tagovailoa cards. In at number 5, which you can make a 30% ROI on if you buy it at the entry-level price of $40. This is a snipe price, so this is the current market value of this card. Tua Tagovailoa's 2020 Donruss 302 Canvas PSA 10. So the Canvas is a variation of the base-rated rookie. It's a pop 936. You can find this card. nooffseason.com helps you find this card. If you go to Tua's player profile off of the formula-based rankings, you can find links directly to eBay listings of this card in PSA 10. You got to get it for $40, though, if you want to make the profit on it we project based on historical data an average sale price of at least $65 in September for this card, making it a 30% ROI card. All right, so that's number 5. Up next, which would give you a 34% ROI per the formula, Tua, his 2020 Mosaic 262 NFL debut base PSA 10. Guys, this is a $25 card. Don't say that I don't do budget stuff for people, okay? You don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money flipping sports cards. You just have to be smart about it. We're smart about it because we go ahead and do all of the research for you at nooffseason.com. So as we run cards through our formula like this one, we take into account all the fees that you would pay on the front end and on the back end selling it. And that's what gives us our projected profit margin and our projected ROI, return on investment, is what matters the most so that you can prioritize. You can prioritize because there's millions and millions and millions of sports cards to buy. But right now, who would have thunk it? Tua's 2020 Mosaic NFL debut base PSA 10, pop 27.44, entry level price $25. If you can get it for $25, that would be the price that you would snipe it for. That's not going to include your shipping and everything like that. Like I said, you don't have to worry about that. We've built it into our formula. This is going to be a $42 card in September based on historical data safely. And it's a 34% ROI. Okay, in at number 3 is just Tua's 2020 base Donruss PSA 10. This is a pop 37.73. The Donruss base PSA 10 will return, get this, at a 54% ROI clip. It's a $24 card right now, a $24 card. That means at least 2 people have bought it since we have posted it at nooffseason.com in the formula-based rankings and will make money on it. At least 2 people have, and you can be the next. You can be the 3rd, you can be the 4th, you can be the 5th, you can be the 6th, etc. You would sell it in September. It's a $50 card in September. It's a $24 card now. All fees, everything included. You get 54% of your money back in cash. You're welcome. This is not just me making stuff up. I think Tua is going to do this. I think Tua is going to do that. Tua is down right now. You should buy him. This is why. It's math. It's math. It's based on real historical data. Tua doesn't need to do anything for this card to go back up. All that needs to happen is September needs to get here, and it's a $50 card in September. All right, the number 4 card. Now, guys, I mean, you don't need money yet. You don't need any real money yet, by the way, right? Because the first card was a $40 card. The second card was a $26, $25 card. The third card was a $24 card. This next card, number 4, which you can make 64% ROI on, is a $22 card. For $22.51, you can get Tua's 2020 Select 45 Concourse PSA 10. Again, this is a base card, but this is a $45 card in September. So September is your selling marker. Weeks 1 through 4 of the NFL season, just Tua being on the field, right? So the earlier that you do it in September, you take the risk out of it because anything can happen in the NFL, right? I mean, Tua could get injured in July. I mean, weirder things have happened in the NFL. You know, Teddy Bridgewater back in the day got injured in July and it nearly cost him his career. It nearly cost him his leg. So I'm not saying that there's not risk involved in this. There's always risk involved when you're investing in sports cards, when you're investing in anything that's outside of your own personal control. Like you getting up and walking out of your chair to the bathroom, that's probably not a risk because all of you probably know that you can do that, right? I hope. But anything beyond that, like it's a little risky. Like you don't know what's going to happen in the real world. But I don't think that you're risking that much if you're spending $22 on this card. Select 45 Concourse PSA 10. You can find it. It's a pop 780. There's links to eBay listings at nooffseason.com right now. 64% ROI. Just wait till September. Sell it for $45. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's the game, baby. And if you don't think that's fun, I don't think you're fun. Up next, Tua Optic Hollow 152 PSA 10. This is a little bit of a higher dollar card, but it sold for as low as $75 earlier this week. Earlier this week, on Mother's Day, it sold for as little as $75. That's not an anomaly sale, people, because it sold for as low as $100 a couple of other times in the last month. It sold yesterday for $127. You can still make close to 100% ROI on this card. Why? Because it's a $190 card in September. Conservatively, it's a $190 card in September based on the formula. Those are your top 5. You're welcome. I love you. Card Snatcher in the house. What's up? Good to see you, Frank Cosman. Good to see you. Couple of high-class premium members checking in. Good to see all of you. All right. Get a free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com today to start learning our guidelines, strategies, and plays to help you make money flipping sports cards, fund your PC, and other things in your life. Guys, I almost got fooled by a weird email today from Arena Club. Arena Club sent out this email promoting their slab packs, and it said, James Wood called up. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to go write a sell alert and dig into the data, right? So as I'm writing my sell alert, I'm doing my research, and I'm like, wait a minute, James Wood didn't get called up. Not yet. He's killing it in AAA right now, so I would expect the call up sometime later this year. Prep your James Wood cards for selling. Don't sell them yet. And if you want to know when to sell your cards, text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727 for sell alerts. They're all free. Text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. That way you can just kind of relax and get texts from me, and I'll tell you when to sell your sports cards. All right. It is time for okay being outbid. Now, guys, I've been bidding on a lot of cards. I mean, if you haven't tuned into the Sports Card Strategy Show recently, you've been missing all of the cards that I've been bidding on. And the main reason, obviously, is because I have left all of my other jobs. I'm only doing nooffseason.com and flipping sports cards for a living now, which means, look, I can't control how many of you sign up as premium members, and I can't control how many of you listen. But what can I control? I can control buying and selling sports cards on my own to make money. So that's my primary focus. That's why I built the formula to help me prioritize. That's why I think it's a great resource for all of you. And now I'm bidding on an absolute crap ton of sports cards at all times. I'm excited to go to the Dallas Card Show tomorrow. Actually, I'm leaving for Dallas. I'll see Lefty and Chase and Cody coming up. I'll see a bunch of other friends. I might even see some of you come say hi. Anyway, as I'm waiting to go to the card show, I mean, I'm obviously bidding on a ridiculous amount of cards on eBay constantly. And so you have to be okay being outbid, though, because if you're not okay being outbid, you're going to lose money. You might have a nice card, but you're going to lose money. So I'm trying to go out and get some Bijan Robinson, Prism. There's a Pandora out of 400. The formula says don't go over a certain amount for that. So I'm letting it go over 173.50. Bijan Silver Prism Rookie Auto. Formula says don't go over 170 on that. I'm letting it go. Formula says don't go over 45 for Anthony Richardson's 2023 Prism Orange Laser. That's a card I've really been trying to get to grade at PSA, but I'm letting it go over 45. Shedeur Sanders, I've got even though like 30% of my entire sports card portfolio right now is Shedeur Sanders autos, I'm still after more because I still believe in him that much. And so the formula says, don't go over a certain amount for his Bowman U Chrome First Prospect Auto. I believe it says don't go over probably 250 or 270. This one's up over 405, which is good news for me because I own a lot of these cards. And now it looks like we're going to have a comp, that could reach over $500. And that would be amazing. And if that is the case, I'm only in a couple $100 on all of mine. So I'm bringing mine to the Dallas Card Show. And if I can get out of them, if 80% of recent comps ends up being close to, $450 for this card, that's a 2x. And if I can 2x my Shedeur Sanders portfolio before the selling marker, like months before the selling marker, I'll do it. Of course, that's the point in the first place. So stay tuned for more. Okay, being outbid. Sean, red 5 cards in the house. George Schur in the house. Good to see you. A couple of other cards. I'm outbid on a Bijan Robinson PSA 10 Blue Wave Prism out of 199. That's over $118 now, so just a little bit too rich for me per the formula. I'm outbid on a 2023 Anthony Richardson Purple Wave PSA 10 out of 99. That sucker's probably going to go, way more than I ever would have been willing. I mean, that's probably $1,000 card. It is so hard to get my hands on Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud cards right now, guys. That, I mean, they just keep going up, which is good in one regard because I've already bought a bunch of them, and I'm holding a bunch of them, and a bunch of them are at PSA still. So because I used the formula, I should be making a lot of money on those when I get them back. But in the meantime, it's like it's hard to pass on them. But again, you have to be okay being outbid because you're just going to lose money if you're stuck with the card at the highest comp. It's going to be hard to flip a card for more than what you paid for it to begin with, let alone if you go over the snipe price, the target cost at nooffseason.com. So there's millions and millions of fish in the sea. There's millions and millions of sports cards in the world. You can be okay being outbid and move to the next one. And as I build the grading submissions that I talk about, I want to share them with you. And that's why I do Will It Gem. So this is a little bit longer Will It Gem here. It includes a big mail day. It includes cracking some slabs, all sorts of stuff. So you'll see this video a bit sped up at times, but we're going to go through my full grading submission at PSA that is now ready after this Will It Gem. So we've got a couple of CJ Stroud base cards that are going for around $25. This one's a little bit off center on the front and back. So I think it's tracking for a 9, which should be a break even. Again, that's the other good thing about the formula is, like, as much as it helps you prioritize the cards to buy to get the ROI on, it also absolutely mitigates your risk, which means if you don't get the grades that you want, then you're not going to lose a ton of money. This one is, I'm going to give you guys a lesson that I learned on this one that I think a lot of us think that it's smart to try to get somebody who has an eBay listing to sell you the card outside of eBay because you might be able to get it for cheaper because they don't have to pay the eBay fees. Here's why I don't like that. It doesn't go through the eBay authentication program. So this CJ Stroud silver prism that is perfectly centered in the photos. You can't see this necessarily on YouTube right now or on Instagram right now. So if you're listening on the podcast apps, you're not really missing much. I'm gonna tell you anyway. There's 2 surface issues with this silver Stroud that I bought, silver prism CJ Stroud that I bought. One's like a speck. It's like an ink speck that's tiny, but I mean PSA should see it. And the other one is a dimple. And typically PSA can dock you all the way down to a 6. In my experience on a ultra modern card, I've been docked all the way down to a PSA 6 for a dimple, which sucks. 6 sucks, right? So it's pretty well centered. And I think that if there were no surface issues, it would have been a Prism Silver PSA 10 CJ Stroud. And I do know that because I have bought the same exact card, not the same copy of the card, but the same card, Prism Silver, raw CJ Stroud through eBay. They have sent it back and refunded me my money because of surface issues. So because I went outside eBay for that sale, I'm paying the price. Literally, it was $315, which would have been a great deal. And now I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm going to send it in anyway, just because you never know. Of course, I'll report back. There was another base CJ Stroud there. So I think out of the 2 base CJ Strouds that I was able to get for the snipe price at nooffseason.com, I think one's going to be a 9, one's going to be a 10. And that's the game when you play the sports card flipping game at the scale that I'm trying to play it at. The silver, I mean, I think at best would be a 9. I think it'd be close to a break even there if I sell it during the NFL season at the beginning. David T says same thing happened to him on a CJ Silver. That's interesting. Yeah, Matt S says, is the snipe price the price you don't want to go over? Yes. In the context of what we're doing at nooffseason.com for premium members, Matt, which I know you are, that's exactly what it is. You want to try to not go over the snipe price. And that's why I do the okay being outbid segment on this show, because I just want to kind of show to all of you that, look, you got to be okay not winning every single auction. Some people put way too much painter's tape on cards, but I guess I would prefer that to the card popping out of the top of the top loader. So anyway, this CJ Stroud base, will it gem? It looks like it could. It looks very well centered. Up, down, left, right, front, back. Doesn't appear to have any surface issues. I always talk about the nameplate on the Prism on the back. You got to take into account your back centering. And if you look at the stat plate, not the nameplate, the stat plate, that's just one way to look at it to see, like, in photos on eBay whether or not it's centered, because you can clearly see, like, if it's off centered by just one part of the stat plate is way closer to the edge of the card than the other part. Luke Menchel in the live chat asked, Paul, if you don't think the card will gem, why don't you just resell it raw instead of taking the risk of getting a grade lower than 9? Here, two reasons, Luke. And I appreciate the question. I have said this many times on the Sports Card Strategy Show, but I realize not everybody listens to every word. Not everybody listens to every episode. Not everybody retains information. So I'm always happy to take more and more questions and answer them again and again. There are 2 reasons. Number 1 is because when I've done that, I've had issues with the buyer. So the buyer has been upset about the condition of the card, and then I have to deal with that, right? So what I've decided is that's not worth my time, and if I'm gonna have to discount the buyer anyway, then I just don't want to deal with that. The second reason is because many times I need a 20th card to get to the bulk. I have everything so planned out that I have 20 cards, and when I get to my 20th card, I'm submitting to PSA, right? Because that is typically the minimum amount of cards that you need for a bulk value submission. So I don't want to if I go buy another card or include another card that I didn't want to include in the first place, that's not as good of a strategy as simply getting it in. A lot of times speed matters too, Luke. So it's like, I've planned this out and I can't afford to now wait several more days for another card to get in to be potentially gradable. I think a reason why a lot of people lose more than they anticipate losing on a grading submission is because of the timing. They get it back a little bit late, and then they wonder why the price of that card has gone down. And it was because the whole play to begin with was to get the card graded by a certain time so that you could get it back by a certain time to sell it at that time so that you don't lose, right? So to me, timing is very important. And you only get the bulk grading fee if you get to the 20th card. Now, we're in a situation in April, and we're in a situation again now in May for the second straight month, where PSA has given us a special where you only need 10 cards. So you only need 10 cards to submit at an even lower price, $16 a card, in May, and there's a 50-day turnaround, but they're beating that right now. They're beating that. I'm going to get a submission back in about 35 days. I'm going to get it back tomorrow. It's going to be delivered at my house. And so those are the two main reasons why I do it, to avoid issues with sellers, to avoid issues with PSA submissions and timing and cost. And you never know. I'm not a grader. So I've had cards I thought was going to 9 and they gemmed. I've had cards I thought were going to gem and they 7'd. So that's 3 reasons. So now we're looking at a Hendon Hooker Purple Ice out of 225 Prism PSA 10 that I just bought straight up as a PSA 10. I paid, what did I pay for this? I got to tell you guys what I paid for it because I'm always fully transparent. So on the Hendon Hooker Purple Ice, I paid $200. And I believe it says out of 225. So maybe I misspoke or misread it on the back of the card. I do believe Hendon Hooker is going to be one of the better prospects as a backup quarterback in the hobby. And so what I mean by that specifically is I believe that because the Lions are one of the top hyped teams right now, I believe that because Hendon Hooker has first round draft talent, but fell to the 3rd round last year, and he has great affordable cards, but desirable cards, achievable yet desirable, right? His price point is at a perfect balance where you can buy it, you can hold it, and if something happens with Jared Goff in any way, shape, or form, Hendon Hooker is one play away from having all of his cards just absolutely skyrocket. And so these are formula approved, of course. Now what I'm doing, for those of you watching, is I'm ripping a box of Bowman 2024 baseball, courtesy of Graybos. Now, I bought this to support Graybos. I think I paid just a little over $300 tax and shipping, and it showed up the other day. I wanted to support Graybos. I wanted to get a couple of extra cards in my grading submission to meet that minimum. Was hoping to pull a nice auto and some Dylan Cruz and Walker Jenkins cards. And you're seeing me go in hyperspeed right now. So if you're listening to it, you're not missing much. But this has to do with a Will It Gem segment, showing you that I do support the hobby in terms of ripping wax. I just don't do it as a sports card strategy. Got a Matt Shaw auto, not a first. Got a Yamamoto base paper rookie, an Ellie De La Cruz base paper rookie, a Kyle Teal base paper first, a chrome Kyle Teal base paper first, a Dylan Cruz base paper first, and a Dylan Cruz chrome base first. I got absolutely murdered on that hobby box, but I will be submitting those cards to PSA, and hopefully I can build back up to my $300. Now what I'm doing is I got these slabs from Arena Club. Thank you, Arena Club. And this was a slab pack. I did enjoy my slab pack experience at Arena Club. So I would like for all of you to check it out. I do think it's a good value if you buy their buyback program, which gets you 80% of your investment back if you don't like your slab pack. I got a couple hits. I got a Kirk Cousins 2022 select white auto out of 30, and it was graded 9.5 by Arena Club with a 10 auto, and I'm cracking this Arena Club slab. And let me tell you, this was the easiest slab I've ever cracked. Arena Club slabs, easiest slabs to crack. I have no idea the legitimacy of their grading service. So I can't tell you anything about like, hey, a Arena Club 9.5 is likely to get a PSA, whatever. I can't tell you that. But I have become somewhat of a professional slab cracker here. And what I did like about cracking the Arena Club slab as well is, in addition to being a really easy slab to crack, there's a protective case. There's a penny sleeve. They got the card in the penny sleeve already. So I don't have to worry about any surface issues with this card. I just put it in the card saver and it's going off to PSA. And if that thing gems at PSA, man, I'm going to sell it for quite a bit in August or September, or I'll give it away to a Sports Card Strategy Show listener, as I alluded to potentially doing a couple of shows ago. The other card that came in the Arena Club slab pack is this Joe Burrow variation rated rookie optic PSA 9. I didn't see any issues as to why it was a PSA 9, so I said, screw it. I'm going to crack this PSA slab. Now, this PSA slab was one of those newer PSA slabs that's hard AF to crack. And it's like gooey. It's like gooey and chewy. Like Lefty and I did one at the National last year like this, and we each tried to do it, and it took us forever. So like you can see me try to two-hand it there with the pliers. Ultimately, I was able to get this thing open, but it's much different than cracking open any other slab. I had to use the tiny screwdriver around the edges to kind of chip away at it and say, you know what? PSA 9, let's send it back to PSA. Why not? Because I don't see any issues at all with this card, and anything can happen with a different grader on any day. If you remember, the PSA reveal from Monday's show had 2 Arch Manning cards that did not meet minimum size requirements previously that I sent back in, and then one got an 8 and one got a 9. So different grades, different days, different things happening. It happens all the time. And if this Joe Burrow card in PSA 9, which is currently worth somewhere between $70 and $90, ends up getting a 10, now all of a sudden this thing's like potentially a $300 to $500 card, because it is an optic photo variation, thick chromium stock there. So I'm excited to include that in my PSA submission, and I'm going to run you through every card in the submission here in a second. Just for those of you watching, can see Burrow, Cousins. We got 2 Dylan Cruz. We're going to have a 2 Kyle Teal, who Lefty likes. Lefty really likes Kyle Teal. I got an Ellie De La Cruz in there because I think that should sell for over the grading fee. Yamamoto, my auto out of Bowman. We got Brandon Miller Silver Prism, the DG Kaboom Darius Garland that I cracked, 2 Connor Bedard Young Guns that I cracked, the Caleb Williams auto out of 99 that I cracked, 2 Paul Skeens autos. I'm sending them in. That's the answer to Monday's question. A Victor Wembanyama Silver, a bunch of CJ Stroud base prisms, and 1 CJ Stroud Prism Silver. That, my friends, is going to be a fun grading submission to get back. And let's talk real quick about, before we do one more run through of the live chat, talk about the 1K Budget Builder NBA Summer League article that I dropped today at nooffseason.com. Now, the 1K Budget Builder is now a weekly article for premium members at nooffseason.com. So it's essentially, how to spend $1,000 and make money flipping sports cards. But I wanted to combine that with the NBA Summer League. Now, I'm a fan of the NBA Summer League. It's gone from like sort of like back in 2001 through 2007 when I worked in the NBA. It was like there were no fans. It was only for the basketball and PR personnel. It was never really posted about, like there was no real news about it. It was like literally just for the basketball operations people in the NBA. Now it's like a fan event. It has sponsors. It's on primetime TV. I mean, it has better television coverage than many other professional sports leagues. And so the NBA Summer League 1K Budget Builder is live at nooffseason.com right now. There's a lot of great budget cards that you can get there. I talk about 2 different groups of players. One is current projected lottery picks in the 2024 NBA draft, which is fun. They've got a lot of very affordable cards. Some of them, spoiler alert, the Kentucky guys are super overpriced, but everyone else is pretty affordable, including my guy Bronny James. And then we've got the second-year players. There's no guarantee that the second-year players will play in it, but all the second-year players that I mentioned in the article are worth taking a look at for various reasons. And so I highly recommend that you check out this unique article at nooffseason.com. 1K Budget Builder, NBA Summer League edition. Let's say hello to the live chat one more time in today's show. But first, are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. Of course, this is for perfect PC protection, not necessarily to increase the secondary market value of your cards. For that, we recommend PSA. We talk about that all the time. So as we wrap up today's show, one more shout out to everybody in the live chat. There's great discussion in there. It's a lot of fun and educational for everybody who partakes. Matt Rubin, what is up? Good to see you. One more time to Koa, Luke, Joel, Frank, Card Snatcher, David, Gabe, Matt, George, Sean, Swamp Gator 42, Koa, Card Curiosity, Baseball Card Curmudgeon. Appreciate all you guys. Great to see everyone. Everybody, have a great day. And you know where to find us. I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.